This is decentralized nutrition in the frame, lens, and context of inaccessibility and economics. So, in this second and last presentation, we'll be discussing one of the more difficult aspects that this author is, not to say that he is reluctant, but he is nevertheless felt forever obliged to share his thoughts over the many years of living amidst involuntary inaccessibility. Take it for what it is. These are a series of etiquettes and or the sociological aspects that people may or may not realize surrounding the acquisition and or the purchasing of various expired food products. So first things first will be to adopt a ask once and no more gesture and policy. Say that we are actually entering into a new store and or franchises and or a different store layout that is quite foreign to us, in which we don't know where to look for. It would be a good idea for us to just approach any staff member and just politely raise a question as to, excuse me, I am looking for where these type of goods are being displayed and where are these markdown clearances are being placed. And we must make a personal vow to never ask this same question again within that same store and or within that same location, so to speak. You must always give them the benefit of doubt. Doubt meaning that you are, again, as a means of courtesy, to leave them to do their duties, routines, and jobs, whatever it is that needs to be done for their day, as their routine schedule, and to never actually disturb them. They may likely be anticipating your presence, maybe not in this exact same day, but for this very exact same purpose. So therefore, for the sake of maintaining one's own overall dignity, it is always wise, therefore, for us to just keep a neutral stance by leaving them alone to their own duties and jobs and whatnot, whilst you already know where to look for these things, and therefore it is up to you therefore to make your own judgments whether or not, okay, this day may not be a good day, right, we'll just leave it for another day and move onwards. It may not be much of a suggestion, but something to keep in mind, and this can be quite sensitive and personal. Be prepared for the fact that at any time, any store managers may refuse, that is correct, they may, at their own discretion, refuse proceeding at selling you such short-dated goods. And no matter, and despite for the fact that such an item is remaining on the shelf. It is clearly marked for sale, clearly with the label, with the barcode, etc., ready to be consumed, ready to be on sale. But keeping in mind that there are some people out there who actually look down, that's right, with some, again, not to adding as an insult, but with some degree of virtue signaling, as such that, oh, we do not want you to get sick, so that we do not want you to blame it on us. That should the worst thing to happen, e.g., you have a foodborne illness, so to speak. However, we must never forget that if we were to weigh upon the pros and cons and the moral ethics dilemma, as such that there is as much as 4 million tons of food that's being wasted, unconsumed, even though as such that this food may yet still be in relatively good condition, ready to be consumed, and yet we have cases of poor nutritional status and malnutrition, and people are hungry. So what shall we do? The best way that this author would like to actually suggest to readers and viewers, even though that it is extremely difficult, but try it regardless anyway, simply walk away. That's right, walk away. Walk away from the cashier checkout. Do not say a single word. Let them pick up let them pick up all your goods and return to where they belong. Sometimes the best way for you to leave a mark of impression to someone is, believe it or not, leave them a mark of silence. Let them work out their own sense of guilt from their own ends, from their own volition, and from their own, how shall we say this, moral compass, moral, ethical compass. And leave them to their own responsibility, not yours, by leaving them completely in silence. This last and final piece of advice and or etiquette suggestion may yet be the most counterintuitive, and yet it actually leaves a mark of impression for those who witnessed. That is, try not to panic buy or hoard everything that you see in front of you. That is, whether it is short-dated, irrespective whether it is short-dated or not short-dated. Always leave yourself room for conscience, for others to pick up, for others to make note and to take mental note that someone else have done their good diligence. Someone else have paid their empathetic diligence. Even a job as simple as stacking food on a shelf is pretty much something that needs human compassion. That still takes quite a few amount of effort, amount of scheduling, amount of coordination. It is one of those occupations that actually demands still some dignity. So why not? Whenever next time you see a short-dated series of goods, make sure to leave 1 or 2 articles, just as a gesture of appreciation for the staff members and or the employees, to nevertheless also to leave something for them, just as a gesture of courtesy. So this wraps up and concludes the second and last part of our feature presentation series. There is actually one disclaimer that this author would like to speak out earnestly and honestly, and that is the fact that none of this video is meant to be taken as a gesture of criticism. It is not a activistic response against powers that be, against the store franchises, against the store managers. It is not a video as a mean to express resentment, even though that yes, some of the sections may seem and or sound as though it is potentially inflammatory, or that once again resembles resentment. However, such is nevertheless a sharing of objective repercussions. That rounds up and concludes this entire feature presentation series on the acquisition, the purchasing, as well as, in this case, the very noteworthy points of etiquette, what to look out for, and various precautionary sociological surroundings that we should be aware of. Just some things to keep in mind beyond that just common senses. Irrespective, should readers and reviewers would like to actually chime in their thoughts, then please let us do so amidst the internet's least visited independent thoughts and dialogues for and towards decentralized nutritional experiences. Leave it forward, and thank you for watching.